Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on how MyCTSavings can help employers and employees succeed. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Lisa Kidder. More on Lisa in just a minute. Our sponsor today is the Southern Connecticut Black Chamber of Commerce out of Bridgeport. And we have Diana Washington in attendance today. Diana, do you want to say anything before we begin?
Certainly. I want to say good morning and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. A little bit about the Chamber. We are a business networking organization serving small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the greater Bridgeport communities, from providing educational and informational workshops to free access to bids to MBE certification. Our group is dedicated to creating a level playing field when it comes to providing the same opportunities and resources for our minority and women-owned businesses as their counterparts. And a little bit about our other sponsor, which is the Bridgeport OIC, which has been unlocking the doors of opportunities in the greater Bridgeport and surrounding towns for over 20 years. They play a vital role in the struggle for economic justice and provide free job placement, skills development services, along with ServSafe certification, small business development, and urban farming training. Led by Deborah Cavanis, our president and CEO, OIC prepares and empowers adults for today's workforce, the changing economy, and environmental challenges. And if you want to know a little bit more about us, I have put both of our contact information in the chat box. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Tim.
Thanks, Diana. Next, some brief info on SCORE. We're part of the Small Business Administration. There's over 11,000 volunteers nationwide. SCORE Fairfield County has over 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. First, there's free one-on-one counseling. Second, there's educational workshops and webinars like this one, over 100 per year that we put on. And third, we have extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject experts at your disposal and templates to build your business plans, your financial projections, etc. Our next workshop is tomorrow at Fairfield Library, actually. It's our flagship education opportunity. It's called Simple Steps for Starting Your Business. Everybody is welcome. The event after that is the next day, Thursday evening. We're at the Trumbull Library, where we're going to be covering SWOT analysis and how it relates to business planning. Consult our website for details on these and other events. So some useful info about today's event. We have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It's located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end sharply at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be sent to everyone that registered, and it's also available on our website within the next couple of days. Now, our speaker. Lisa Kidder is the Strategic Communications Manager for the MyCTSavings Retirement Program in the Office of the State Comptroller. Kidder has worked in advertising, marketing, and public relations in both the public and private sectors. She has owned a communications consulting business herself, so she was a small business owner as well. So now I'll turn it over to Lisa. Lisa, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending today. And I just want to note that the MyCTSavings program is very lucky to have a wealth of partners across the state who are helping us get our message out. Today is particularly bringing that home to me because, thanks to Tim at SCORE and Diane at the Southern Connecticut Black Chamber, and they are key partners in this program to help me share information. But I'm coming to you today, not from my office, but from the Northwest Connecticut Chamber of Commerce, because I was at an SBA open house event for small business owners all morning, and then Northwest allowed me to stay here in their offices to do the presentation today. So we have so many great partners that are supporting our business and helping it to succeed. I just want to note that what an important thing it is for any business, whether it's a state business, whether it's a nonprofit, if it's a for-profit business, that you are always as good as the partners that you work with. So the thing that I want to do today is to provide you mentors and business owners with an overview about why the MyCTSavings program, which is also known as an auto IRA program, is needed in Connecticut, and to give you the basic information on the program that you need so that when you're sharing it with your clients or when they're putting together their business plan, they can make sure that retirement savings is in that plan and part of the future of their business, both for the owner and for their employees. And as Tim mentioned, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. My colleague Lily Smith is online as well. If your question is something that can be answered, that can be taken care of with a website link, she will post that for you so you'll know right away that you can get the link to that. So across the country, there's a growing segment of workers who do not have access to retirement savings or access to a retirement plan sponsored through their employer. As Diana mentioned, it's all about getting access to the opportunities and the programs that you need. So research tells us that access to retirement savings through employment means increased savings. Automated savings through an employer is the most successful way for people to save for retirement. According to the Pew Charitable Trusts and Kim Olson, you're 15 times more likely to save for retirement if you have the opportunity to save through payroll deduction. If you have to do it on your own, the chances are very low that you will follow through. So to that end, many states across the country are working on state-sponsored retirement programs or auto IRAs. Connecticut was the 4th state to do that. There are now 13 other states active. On this map, the green and yellow states are the ones who are currently have a legislative proposal or a study group pending to create this kind of a program. And there are only 2 states, the 2 states in blue, that have taken no action on this program yet. So the goal of the MyCTSavings program, which is technically known by the name, MyCTSavings is the brand. Technically, it's known by the Connecticut Retirement Security Program. The goal is to increase the number of private sector workers with access to retirement savings through employers. There is a state mandate if you have 5 employees or more and you don't offer a retirement plan, you need to offer a plan to your employees, which can be MyCTSavings, which is free, or you can choose another plan of your own. So when the auto IRAs were launched initially, there were some concerns that the state programs were going to be competing and create difficulty for other private programs, for 401ks, for other financial planning institutions. And this chart shows with the 3 states that came on before Connecticut, this chart shows that that is not the case at all. When these programs were launched, it created interest in retirement savings, and it not only lifted participation in the state auto IRA programs, but it created and generated more interest and participation in all retirement programs, regardless of the type of the program. So in states that are sponsoring retirement saving auto IRA programs, businesses that already had retirement plans maintained those levels. Businesses without retirement plans adopted new plans. And so we're really happy to see that overall the category and participation in retirement has continued to increase with the introduction of these auto IRA programs. So specifically in Connecticut, thousands of workers don't have access to an employer-sponsored plan. 55% of Americans are concerned that they don't have enough saved for retirement. And we know that here in Connecticut, Social Security is never going to be enough for a lot of employees to maintain their lifestyle. The average Social Security payment is about $1,800 a month, and that does not go far enough in Connecticut with the high cost of gas and groceries and housing. Even more alarming is that 1 in 4 Americans have no retirement savings. With that situation, when employees don't have enough money to retire, or if they're working in manufacturing or their health does, and they might not be able to, they physically can't continue to work, those people find themselves in a very difficult situation. So without additional retirement savings options, more people are going to be turning to the state to look for some relief from their lack of retirement savings. So according to the Pew Charitable Trusts, insufficient retirement savings could increase the U.S. taxpayer burden to more than $334 billion between now and 2040. And then in Connecticut, they estimate that it will be $6.5 billion of a shortfall just for Connecticut. So obviously something has to be done. So a state-sponsored program like MyCTSavings will reduce the taxpayer burden from insufficient savings. And, the good news is that even small savings over a worker's career can help offset that shortfall from the large number of people who are short on savings. So if a household saved an additional $1,685 a year, about $140 a month, over a 30-year period, they can erase that retirement savings gap and eliminate the extra taxpayer burden, and most importantly, help people maintain their lifestyles in retirement. So this is just a quick shot to show you that even if someone is starting at 30 years old, saving only 3% of a $50,000 salary, they could still have over $250,000 by the time they're age 65. If they went up to 5%, they could have over $400,000. So this is something that, even people who have tight finances can certainly benefit from saving just a small amount. And a MyCTSavings account, the default setting is 3% contribution a year. So this calculator is on the MyCTSavings website. If you want to take a look at it, it's kind of fun to play with and see where you are and what you could do if you wanted to save more, or how your employees could save if you are the employer. So while the program has great benefits for employees, giving them access to retirement savings, the program also has important benefits for employers. So offering a retirement option is a competitive hiring advantage and will help you retain talented staff. So if you're offering something a little bit more than what your competitors are offering, it's going to pay off for you, and it will pay off for your employees. And an Employee Benefit Research Institute study found a direct correlation between employers offering financial wellness initiatives and increased employee production and satisfaction. So satisfied, happy employees are going to be more productive, and that's always a benefit to your business. In addition, there is no cost for a business to participate in MyCTSavings, and the process is simple to facilitate through payroll. So who's it for? So for employers, these are the companies that are required to participate. All qualified employers with 5 or more employees in the state of Connecticut, and this is full or part-time employees, at least 5 of whom make $5,000 a year, are required to join the MyCTSavings program. The employees must be 19 years of age or older, and you enroll them after they've been at work with you for at least 120 days, and their work has to be done in Connecticut. So if you're a company in Connecticut, but you have an employee whose territory is Massachusetts, and they work and live in Massachusetts, you don't have to cover that employee. You have to cover the employees who perform their services in Connecticut. So employers will receive a notice from the MyCTSavings program when it's time for them to sign up. They become eligible when they've been operating since October of the previous calendar year. So that's when someone will receive a notification. If an employer who already has a retirement plan receives a notification from MyCTSavings, they should go ahead and log into the website and just certify that they are exempt. Employees will be auto enrolled, and they will be notified by MyCTSavings of their options. Individuals can also, who are self-employed, can also sign up for the program. It would simply be through their through their own personal bank account rather than through payroll program. So if your company that you work for, or if a client that you're mentoring is eligible for the MyCTSavings program, this is the home screen of the MyCTSavings program where you get started. This has been updated, so there's a single login for everyone who uses the program. This is where both employers and employees start. Individuals who are self-employed can also register using the Savers button, and as I said, it would just be in a personal account versus payroll. We also this year we did some updates to our website. We now have an expanded section in Spanish. We did have Spanish before, but now there are more resources and information in Spanish. And just as an aside, there are, if you need translation into other languages, the 800 number service, customer service and employer service centers all have translation services in the language. That makes it easier for everyone. So MyCTSavings is an auto enrollment plan. The pros and cons of auto enrollment have been debated for quite some time over the few years, as you are probably all aware. But now with Secure 2.0, auto enrollment will become a feature of all new plans launched from 2025 forward. So I think, some people have had concerns about auto enrollment, but it is not, it is now the law of the land. So any program that starts up after this will have automatic enrollment, and employees will be required to opt out. The important thing about auto enrollment is it really, as I said earlier from the Kim Olson at the Pew Trust, it really avoids that thing we all fall into called procrastination. And it results in higher participation rates and increased retirement savings, which is the goal that we're all working toward. We want to make sure everyone has savings, and that, they don't get sidetracked by, trying to figure out which vendor to use, or to try to find all the forms they need to get their banking information together and their social security number and information together. So auto enrollment simply bypasses procrastination and allows people to either make the decision of continuing to save or to not save. If they want to opt out, employees can always opt out. If they decide to opt out initially, they can also sign back in later, and start saving. So, the goal here is to make sure that we make it as easy as possible, both for the employer and for the employee, to save for retirement so that they have the kind of life they want when they're finished working. So here's the key information that you need for employer responsibilities. And again, we try to keep it as simple as possible. So an employer that receives a notice from MyCTSavings must register the business and then enroll the employees by uploading your company's payroll information. And again, if you have a plan and you get a notice, you just have to go online and certify that exemption. The next step is the employee decision period. MyCTSavings will contact the employees by whatever means as an employer you've given us, whether it's an email or a postal mail. We will contact the employees. They have 30 days to decide if they want to opt out. If they want to customize their options, by setting a different savings rate or by choosing from a limited menu of funds. Or they can automatically, if they don't do anything, they'll automatically begin having payroll contributions of 3% of their payroll made into a Roth IRA account. So the plan is voluntary for employees, and they can change their contributions or their options at any time. We find this is really good for small businesses, especially seasonal businesses, that perhaps, they can start out if they're, if you're a landscaper and you're, busy 9 months out of the year, but from March, January to March, you're not doing a lot. Your employees can drop down their contribution percentage. And in the summer months, when you're very busy and working a lot, your employees can increase their percentage to match, to whatever suits their budget. The one thing I want to be very clear about, people are sometimes confused about this, but the MyCTSavings program, while it is operated out of the Office of the State Comptroller, is completely separate from the state employee retirement plan. The funds are not mingled in any way with state funds. These are individual Roth IRA accounts in the name of each employee. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that, and the state doesn't have any connection or access to any of these accounts. They belong to individual savers. So once an employee makes their decision, either to save, opt out, or to customize the plan, MyCTSavings sends the employer a contributions report based on the payroll schedule that will tell the employer how much to set aside for each employee, and on the pay cycle. And then the employer sends those contributions to Vestwell State Savings, who is the contract administrator for the program. And Bank of New York is the custodial holder of all of these accounts. So once the first contributions go in, you set that cycle and continue it. If there are any changes to an employee's contributions, we will notify you. And then the responsibility of the employer at that point is simply to continue to submit contributions and to keep the employee list current, so that you're adding new employees when they join or deleting employees when they are no longer with the company. So to make it even easier for your company, you can set it up with your payroll provider if that works for you. I know with many startups, you might not have a payroll company initially, but if that option is available to you, we suggest that employers take advantage of that. We currently have 36 payroll providers who are working with us, and that will make your life easier, both with with 180-degree and 360-degree integrations, which makes the process of making contributions even easier. You can also add a teammate or another person who works with you to do your payroll. If you're the business owner and you have somebody in your office who handles payroll, you can put them as the contact. You don't have to keep it in your name. I do want to note that we do not participate currently with ADP and Paychex. We are talking to them, and in the meantime, we are also working to find ways to make it a little easier for customers to facilitate MyCTSavings through those providers. And we always welcome employers to share the names of their providers if they're working with someone who's not currently on our participating payroll list. We always, encourage you to share that information with us, and we will reach out to your payroll provider to see if they're interested in participating. Also, the MyCTSavings Help Center, the website myctsavings.zendesk.com, has a wealth of information to assist business owners. There are how-to webinars, there are videos, there are articles, and a number of ways to support employers who are participating in the program. So if you have employees in the program, again, they have to be 19 years of older, they have to have W-2 wages in Connecticut, and they have to be 120 days employed before they can start making contributions. And again, the employees are notified by when they have options, opt out, to customize, their savings or do a 3% change, a 3% contribution, or to adjust it seasonally, whatever works for them. And again, there are comparable resources on the website for employees. There's a section of information that the employers can provide employees, but for the most part, as an employer, you want to stay away from any advising of your employees on their on their retirement savings, but you can direct them to online resources. So just to give you a little bit of information about how the program has been operating, the program was initially launched in 2022. And originally it was launched in waves by size of company because there were about 40,000 businesses who needed to be notified. So we started out slow in waves by the size of the business. In 2023, we shifted to one annual wave. So notices go out in about the 1st of July each year, and the enrollment deadline is August of that year. So this year's deadline has passed, but if your company received a notice to register and you have not done it yet, you can absolutely still register. You are required to register. And at this time, there are no penalties for non-compliance. So it doesn't matter if you got your first notice in January of 2023, or if you got it this July. If your deadline is passed, we just want to get you signed up, and we want to give the opportunity for your employees to start saving. So you can do that so you can get started right away. In terms of how we're doing this year, we're pretty proud of the results so far. We're coming up on 2 years this month. Business enrollments have increased from 876 employees at the end of 2022 up to 6,700 businesses who have enrolled in, 876 businesses enrolled in January of 2022 and 6,700 businesses now enrolled in the program. When those businesses signed up, it in turn allowed their employees to start saving for retirement. So we've gone from about 6,700 employees who were saving in January of 2023. Now, just last week, we passed 30,000 employees who are now saving for their retirement with a Roth IRA through the MyCTSavings program. And when we started, there was about $1.5 million in the fund. And now there is $35 million in assets in total assets in savers funds. So, the average account has about $1,200 in it. It's because most people started somewhere around January of 2023. So most of those accounts, the average account is about $1,200 in account balance. Keep in mind that it's a Roth IRA, so the annual maximum for employees to save is $7,500. If they're over age 50, I think they can go up to $8,000 as of this year. And I want to note that of those 30,000 people who are saving, about 25% of them are part-time workers who are saving through multiple employers. This is really important because a lot of times I will hear from small business owners with part-time employees, they say, well, my employees don't make a lot of money. They're not going to want to save, or they don't make enough money to save. And what we're seeing is really for employees who are working multiple jobs, saving for their future is very important to them. So they are doing it, and they work with different employers, but it all goes into one single account for them. One of the things that we watch closely are the business categories of the categories of businesses who are enrolling in our programs. And so we watch the NAICS code data, and right now service industries in general have the highest registration rates. Businesses in those industries have the highest registration rates for MyCTSavings. And ironically, they also have the highest unregistered rate in these groups. So we especially are focusing on these groups and find that this is where the greatest need for the program is. The restaurants and food services group also includes, full service restaurants, limited service restaurants, snacks and non-alcoholic beverage bars, and related industries in food service. Healthcare and social assistance, so childcare services for the elderly and disabled, and healthcare and home care. So those are a group of people who, again, many of them work part-time for multiple companies. And it's an important group because these people are caring for often either children or elderly patients. And you want to make sure that those employees have a way to save for their own futures as going forward. Landscaping companies are also another group that is both highly registered and not registered. This group also includes administrative and support companies, waste management, and remediation service. So for some reason that in the NAICS code world, those landscaping companies, landscaping includes an odd number of different other businesses are included into landscaping. The last one is beauty salons, nail salons, hair salons, spas. Again, another group that has a number of high part-time employees. And in addition, many beauty salons have self-employed people working in the company. So those self-employed people can also sign up for the MyCTSavings program as individuals. So if you work with people, with entrepreneurs in any of these businesses, we especially want you to make sure they are aware of the program and the benefits that it offers, both for their business and also for their employees. In terms of geography, the cities obviously have the highest numbers of businesses registered for the program. Stamford and Norwalk and New Haven lead the way in terms of registrations. Another interesting stat, especially for SCORE, is that 85% of the companies that have registered for our program are small employers, those between 5 and 25 employees. So these are businesses that often can't afford the cost to set up and administer a private plan. So for those companies, MyCTSavings is a simple solution. Again, it doesn't cost them anything. There's no matching for employee contributions, and it's simply facilitated through payroll. We also hear, the comptroller goes on business walks to main streets in many towns across the state. And we talk to small business owners and a woman who owns a cupcake company in Middletown told us that when she started offering a retirement program for her employees, it allowed them to stay with her longer before they felt they needed to move on to a job that was, as she put it, a grown-up job, so that it allowed her younger employees to stay with her, do the creative work that they loved, and stay with her longer before they felt they had to go on to a different kind of work. Another coffee shop owner in New Haven told us that, again, having this program allows him to keep his employees longer. It lets them, stay with him because of that extra benefit. It is, keeps them from jumping to the next coffee shop that opens down the street because of, another few cents in a small increase in payroll. So it's important to know that, that this program really benefits not only the employees, but the employers. So as I showed you earlier, the website update, again, we have expanded that website. There's many resources for the business owners. There's how-to videos that you can watch at your convenience. There's a number of articles. And we also offer monthly payroll webinars live so that if an employer has an issue with how things are working, they have that live option to get a walk through the program and to be able to ask their questions and answers. And again, I want to, reiterate that we do have an expanded Spanish language section, and the translation services are available at any time through our 800 number, or I think it's an 833 number. At this point, I'm going to ask if there are any other questions. We will cover those and get you back to the rest of your work in maybe even a few minutes early.
Okay, so
Tim?
thank you, Lisa. We'll use the remaining time for a little Q&A. Lilith, I don't know if you want to take yourself off mute and
I'm turning
maybe
off. There
review
we
some of the
go.
questions with Lisa.
Sure thing. So Lisa, do you want me to just read what's in the chat for you?
Please. Yeah, just so everybody else can hear it too.
So, what retirement program can you offer for the self-employed people, and how can I progressively save so I will have enough money to retire on? Otherwise, I have to hope Social Security and Title IX status will support my financial needs. How can I talk to somebody about this? Because I don't know enough about, I know enough. I'm tongue-tied today. How can I talk to someone about this? Because I know I don't know enough to retire.
Great. Good questions all around. First, I do need to tell you that we are not financial planners, so we cannot give you advice on specific savings vehicles or specific investments from the comptroller's office and the MyCTSavings staff. But our Roth IRAs are a managed program through Vestwell State Savings and Bank of New York Mellon. And you as an individual who's self-employed can set up an account through us. And the funds are mutual funds. You can choose the level of risk that you're willing to accept in terms of your investments. You can determine whether you want really stable funds, whether you want some funds that might involve some risk with potentially higher reward, or whether you want to if you're younger, you have more time to grow your money for retirement, you might want to choose more aggressive investments. And again, that's something you can go on Google and look up financial investments, and there'll be a million different companies that will offer advice and give you some direction, very specific direction. But what we can offer you is access to a Roth IRA that is stable and administered through the state. It's all done online. You don't have to go to a bank. You don't have to go anywhere. You can set it up for yourself. A Roth IRA has some specific things that are different than other plans. The maximum you can contribute is $7,500 if you're under 50, and I believe this year it goes up to $8,000 if you're over 50. And you can, on the website, you can go in and look at the different funds that are available for you to invest in. And you can call, there's an 833 number that offers employee assistance or customer assistance for savers, that you can talk to them and they can advise you on, your strategies or how much you might want to save every month. And then you would set it up as an automatic payment in your own personal bank account. So you can do some reading about that to get your own, to get some background information. I would encourage you to look at different paths. There is a calculator on the website that will show, help you, say, you can say, if you want to retire, if you want to spend 70, if you want to make sure you hit the maximum contribution, you can go in on our calculator and it will say, I want to contribute $7,500 this year. And it will tell you how much you need to contribute each paycheck to hit that amount. So again, the information is there on the website, and again, there's a lot of other resources as well. Even a company, an advice company, if you will, like NerdWallet, or there's several others. I'm sure, you can talk to friends and they can tell you a number of different sites, but NerdWallet is a fairly mainstream website that can answer a lot of financial questions that might help you. All right, and Lily posted a link for both where savers can go in, the retirement calculator and the retirement the Savers Assistance line. So all of those things should help you as you're in your quest to save for retirement, which is a great thing.
On the same kind of note, Lisa, second question. Does this savings plan offer a interest rate? And if so, how much is the interest rate?
Okay, so this is not just a saving, it is an investment plan. You are investing your money in funds that earn income and increase your earnings over time. If you go into the website and you can look at each individual fund and what the current earnings are on it. It's set up again, it's earnings and not like when you go to a bank and you open up a savings account that has a 3% interest rate. The earnings vary based on the performance of the funds. For estimating purposes, on the calculator, we use 6% increase over time. But you can look on the website at our list of funds and it will tell you the actual performance currently of each different fund that you can invest in. Does that help?
And then is there a way to know how much money I need to debited from my account if I want to retire with a certain amount of retirement monthly amount? Like if I wanted to retire on 2,500 a month, does the plan tell me what amount I have to deposit in my savings?
Now I'm not sure that our calculator will let you work backwards. It will tell you if you put in an amount, if you say I make $50,000 and I want to set aside 3% of it, here's how much I want to get, here's how much I want to have when I'm 65. But I know there are other calculators out there that will tell you that will give you, you tell them this is what I want to have income for each month when I'm 65 and how do I get there? I know that we have a state retirement plan and there's a calculator in that program that tells us you can set different levels and say, if I want to have this much income, what do I have to save now to get there? So you might want to check if you have, with a bank, with one of a bank that you use, if you have an account with them, that bank might have a similar calculator. You might just be able to go in and Google, how to calculate retirement savings and, see what other kinds of calculators come up. But I'm sure there are different calculators out there that you can play with the numbers and get, when you know roughly what you feel like you need to have each month, you can put the numbers in and it will help you figure out how much you should be setting aside each month.
And another question, can an employees elect to have their contributions go through it personally rather than go through payroll?
To do that, I believe you would have to opt out from your employer, and then you would have to create an account as an individual saver. The advantage of doing it through your employer is that it's easier for you. The money comes out, they take your taxes out, they take out, the other Social Security and state taxes and whatever else comes out of your paycheck, and then they set aside your contribution to your Roth IRA. So it's a little bit easier for you if you do go through your payroll, but if you prefer not to go through your payroll, you just would opt out from an employer and sign up as an individual. When you could go right to the website and click on the Savers link, set it up and enter your bank information, and then set up whatever amount of monthly contribution you want to make.
And
Very good. Can I ask a question? You mentioned that Paychex and ADP aren't, quote, payroll partners, I guess. But if you work for a company that uses either one of those services, I mean, you can still participate in the MyCTSavings program, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's really just some employers who have ADP as their payroll provider it creates a little bit more paperwork for them. It doesn't really probably affect employees, but it's not as easy to facilitate the program with ADP and Paychecks right now because those companies aren't connecting directly. But from an employee standpoint, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't affect you if you are an employee. If your company has ADP or Paychecks, it doesn't affect your ability to save. It just makes it a little more complex for your payroll department. And hopefully we'll be getting past that obstacle in the future. So thank you for that. Thank you, Tim, for clarifying that. That's important to note that it's just an administrative issue.
Right. And what kind of reporting is done in terms of if someone is in the plan a year later, they want to know what their balance is and whether they're making money? What kind of reporting is done by Vestwell or whoever is the reporter, I guess?
Okay, so Vestwell sends out quarterly statements to all of their savers, so they can look there. They'll see that report quarterly, see what their where their investments are going and what earnings are on it. Also, employees can log in, savers can log into their own accounts at any time and see what their balance looks like. Vestwell has just launched an app, or is in the process of launching an app. So soon that will be another way for savers to go in quickly and look at the performance of their account and watch it grow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think everybody knows that they should be saving for their future, and opening a bank savings account, passbook account, they're just not paying any interest. You're really kind of losing money through inflation every time, and you sort of have to be somewhat in the market, bond funds or stock funds, if you're going to have any hope to stay ahead of inflation. And this is kind of an easy way of getting in. Some of these people wouldn't have enough money, say, to go to Fidelity or Morgan Stanley to open an account to buy a mutual fund, but this is an easy way to get started. And you say it's a Roth IRA account. That means if they needed to get a hold of the money and if an emergency comes up, they can do that without a penalty, I believe, right? So
correct. So you can take out the money that you've contributed if you have an emergency and you need to take some of that money out of the account. You can take out the amount you've contributed. You cannot take out earnings, what the account has earned, without getting a tax penalty from the IRS. But you do have access to the savings that you've contributed.
right. And I see the legislative session just started recently. Do you have any wish list of laws or what you want to do to enhance the program at all? Or
well, I think the thing that we're most concerned with is at this point, there's no penalties for not participating if your company is required to participate in the state mandate. There's no penalty to non-participation. And we'd like to see the state add some penalty for not participating, mostly as an incentive to get companies to participate. 2 years ago, when I started working on the plan, we were all, we discussed it and everyone everyone felt that the carrot, the advantages of the program were important enough that people would want to sign up and want to participate. But so we have not had any penalties yet. I believe in the future there will be penalties enacted. Other states have already enacted some penalties. And really it just created an incentive for more companies to sign up. I don't know how many people, if any, have ever actually paid a penalty for non-participation, because really what we want is for people to sign up for the program. Another thing that is sort of on our wish list long-term is to, and this may be something that comes down the road with the part of the secure laws from the federal level. We'd like to see an automatic escalation of savings rates added to the program. Many programs now annually increase the employee's contribution by 1%. And the employee can always say no. Obviously, the employee can say, no, I don't, leave me at 3%. I don't want to go to 4%, but if employees get in the habit of annually increasing the amount of savings in their retirement program, it benefits them in the long run. It will definitely make, I mean, the example I showed of the difference between, saving 3% of your salary and saving 5% of your salary over 30 years is tremendous. So if people get in the habit of just annually increasing that percentage by 1%, you don't really notice the change day to day, but when you're 65, you will be very happy that you've done that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I could see where if you don't have a penalty, in essence, it's not mandatory. Let's face it. That's what the average person would probably say. But this is a very conservative program, really, that most employers
Yes.
should be able to support. We're really, there's no fees for entering the program on the employer's part. There's no government kicking in for a portion of it. So it really is putting the onus on the employee. Unfortunately, none of you are going to be like I was and have worked for an employer that had a defined benefit pension plan that did all the work for me, thank goodness, and
Right.
I didn't have to think about it too hard. Very good. So I don't think we have any more questions. So let's wind it up. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen or forget the link on the screen. Go to our website and click Request a Mentor. Also, please fill out your evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's event and thank Diana Washington for sponsoring this event. Thanks, Lisa. That was great.
Welcome. You're welcome. And yeah, if you have more questions for me, please reach. Tim has my contact information. Please feel free to call our office.
Very good. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank
Bye.
you.